Hello, this is Mrs. Martin, and this is actually take 3, I think, of the reading biography video for the week of May 4th. So we'll try this again. Uh, this week and next week, to wrap up this year, we just wanted to go back and review a little bit about a couple of different genres of text that we have read this year that will be important for you to understand moving into your next school year. We've chosen 2 genres of text that are nonfiction, which means that they are not fake. They are real. They are about real things or real life people, real life events, those types of things. So this week we're going to be talking about biographies. We just need to make sure that you understand what a biography is, and you're going to go out and read a biography today and or listen to a biography video, and then you're going to answer some questions. So first thing I want to do is just go over this anchor chart on biographies. As you know, a biography tells about the life of a real person. So that's why it's a nonfiction text, because it's about a real person. It usually includes why the person is important, some of the events from the person's life, information about where the person lived, worked, or traveled, and ways the person has made a difference. And that's what's really important, is when you are reading biographies about important people from history or even people that are still alive today, you need to try to take away, why is this person important? What lesson do we learn from them? How have they made a difference in the world? So a biography can have, these are just some text features that a biography might have. They can have photos or artwork that show the person. So sometimes it's a real life photograph, and sometimes it's just an illustration of the person. But even if it's an illustration or a drawing, it can still be nonfiction, and it can still be about real people and real events. So the story that you're going to be listening to today is actually, it looks like a storybook, but it is about a real person. They just didn't have cameras back then when this lady was around, that you're going to read about. And a lot of, actually, even biographies about people that are still alive today sometimes have drawings or illustrations. So just because it has a drawing or an illustration, don't automatically put that into the fiction category. It could be nonfiction. So biography can have either real photographs, or it can have artwork that show the person. It usually has events in order from the earliest events to the latest events. So usually they're put in chronological order, which is another text feature we've learned about this year, which means that the events are in order from the earliest event moving on to the latest events. And then sometimes they can include a timeline that actually shows these order of events. Remember, a timeline is set up like a number line, except for instead of just showing numbers, a lot of times it'll have events. Sometimes it will have numbers, because sometimes it will have the actual dates, the number date of the event. But sometimes it doesn't have the numbers in there, and it just has the words, and that's okay. It's still considered a timeline if the events are put into chronological order from the earliest to the latest event, and they're organized along a line with the little pullouts for each event. Okay, so those are timelines. So this anchor chart about biographies actually has the silhouette of a famous person. Can you guess which famous person is the silhouette? If you guessed Abraham Lincoln, you are correct, because we often see him with his short little beard and his really tall black hat. A lot of times that's how he's depicted, and so that's what they have shown here, just because we probably read a lot of biographies about Abraham Lincoln. He's one of our most famous presidents. And these are just some other people that there are biographies out there about that have made a difference in our world. Amelia Earhart, of course, Abraham Lincoln, Helen Keller, we read about her this year, Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and George Washington. Those are all real life people that you might be able to find biographies about. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is just show you what your assignment is this week, so I can kind of show you how to do that. Now, for your assignments this week, you're going to have a slides presentation in the activity that has questions on each slide for you to answer. Before you can go, let me show you. Before you can go answer these questions, you have to have read a biography. Now, I've given you several options here of how to, let me change this so I can go back. I've given you several options. I'm going to give you several options of how you can complete the biography reading part of the assignment. You do need to either listen to a biography book or read a biography book yourself before you complete the activity. So, I have given you a link here on the very first slide to a video. So to make that link work, you should be able to just highlight it and see how my arrow turned into a hand. So when the arrow turns into a hand, you should be able to click on the link. That's going to take you to a YouTube video. It might pop up in a separate window, and that's fine. It's probably better for you to watch it in a separate window, but just make sure that when you're done, you close that window to go back to your assignment. So if you go to this video, when you get here, all you would do is click play. And then she's going to read the story to you. This particular story is called The House That Jane Built by Kierna Shipka. And this story is a biography story about Jane Addams. And Jane Addams was the first wife of John Adams, in which when we say first wife, we're actually talking about the president's wife. And John Adams was our second president of the United States. And Jane Addams was his wife, and this is just a story of one of the important things that she did. She's actually very important to our history because she did several things that were very significant, but one of the things that she did was start this house for people that were in need, and so that kind of started some of our community service projects that continued to grow over the years. So she's very significant to our history, so I chose this story for you to listen to. So you can either go listen to this story and then close the window, click on the X, close the window, go back to the biography slides to go through and answer the questions. Or if you have your My Book workbooks that you picked up from school, you could go to any of these stories that should be in the workbooks that you have at home, and you could just reread a story. So these are several options of biographies that you could choose from. I Am Helen Keller is a biography we read this year. Trombone Shorty. I even put on some of these books, I put what book they're in. Trombone Shorty was a biography that was read to you by your teacher, but you should be able to find a video of it on YouTube as well. I Am Helen Keller is in your My Book 4, so I put that there in the corner of the slide. Wilma Rudolph, Against All Odds, is in My Book 3, so if you want to go back and use that story, you don't need to read all of these. You just need to pick one biography to either read or listen to yourself, and then you're going to answer the questions. But these are some that you might have at home in your My Books that we sent home with you. This Gingerbread for Liberty is a biography story, and it is in My Book 2. Okay, and the stories he tells, the story of Joseph Burchak is also in My Book 3, so you can find that in one of your My Books as well. So after you have either, and if none of these are interesting to you and you need another option, your other last option, which just in case, is either pick a biography book you have at home, check one out at the Crum Library because the library is open now, so you can go up there and check one out, or you can go to epic.com and you can log in and with your teacher's account, just email your teacher if you don't have that, and you can choose a biography on there to read, or some of those books also read to you and you can listen to it. So choose a biography that's interesting to you. It can be one we've read, or it can be one that you want to choose, or you can use the video link that I gave you. So lots of options there. And then you're going to come back and you're going to answer these questions. What is the title of the book? So you're going to open these slides. You're going to use your tools in Seesaw to either type in the answer or write it with your pencil tool. You need to write what is the title of the book. Then you're going to go to the next slide. It says, what is the person's name? So who is that book about, or that video about? Because we're talking about biographies, so it needs to be about a person. So you do need to be able to put, who is this mostly about? Then it says, why is this person important? So you're going to have to use the inferencing skills and really pay attention to what you're reading, and you're going to have to determine why you think that this person that you read about is important, and you're going to need to put an answer here, because that's really what we want you to focus on when you are reading biographies, is trying to figure out why that person is important. It says, what are some of the events from the person's life? So if you're reading a biography book, there should be at least one event from their life, but usually several events from their life. So make sure and include a couple of those here. And it could be from outside the book as well. If you know something else to go with that, things that you read in the book, and you know something else about that person, you can add it. Where did this person live, work, or travel? So there should be some place or some setting, some location that this person was either living in, where they worked at, or where they were traveling to, because some of these biographies are about people that traveled. So you need to put that place or location here. And then it says, what are some ways the person has made a difference? So try to figure out from your reading, what are some ways this person has made a difference to us? And then that's it. That's all you need to do. And if you notice, I took those questions pretty much straight out of our anchor chart about biographies, because these are some important things that you need to pay attention to whenever you are reading a biography text. Which usually are very interesting. I'm sure you can find some very interesting ones. I know if you go to Epic, they have some like on current people, Taylor Swift and lots of the sports stars that you guys are interested in. So find a book that you're interested in, find a person you want to learn about, read that book or listen to that book, and then go answer these questions. If you have any questions, please message your teacher and we'll be happy to help you.